We're getting ready for Independence Day, 4th of July, one of those freedom days during the year. And this is a sugar-free parfait, a keto parfait for Independence Day. I am Catherine Best Gordon, the Sugar Freedom Woman. You can get the program at sugarfreedom.com. What are the ingredients? Now look, I may have been named after a saint, Saint Catherine of Siena, but I am not a saint. So every once in a while, I am going to do a substitution that it's sugar-free, but it isn't perfect. It's got 1 gram of carbohydrate, and it has things like xanthan gum, and we've got some sucralose in here. This is not a health food. What it is it's a substitution so that I am enjoying a dessert on the 4th of July along with my family. I don't do it all of the time. The most important thing is that this does not trigger me. I want to tell you, drop sugar, lift weight, and find your level of carbohydrate tolerance. I can tolerate this. This little dessert, 5 calories, 1 gram of carbohydrate, does not trigger my sugar cravings because I am a glucomaniac. Anything that breaks down into glucose, if I have too much of it, I am off to the races and I'm eating out of control. However, this doesn't do that. And this is the snack pack variety. I do prefer this variety. Sugar-free Jell-O is easier to find, but there's also snack pack. So this is the base. This pretty little dessert that I have right here. One of the most important tips that I can share with you when you do make a keto dessert on a special occasion, don't make extra. Make just enough for one good serving that you're going to enjoy, because these kinds of items, usually you can tolerate a little bit of them. That's what I can tolerate, but I don't want to be making something where there's like an entire plate of them that's going to be in the refrigerator for the next couple of days. The beautiful thing about this recipe is that I can make one and then move on from there. And then these also, the snack pack, you'll find these are not refrigerated. Of course, I refrigerated them for flavor, but these will last for a while, so you can put them away up in a cupboard until the next time. So that's one of the big important tips I want to share with you, is that if you're going to make a ketogenic dessert for a special occasion, don't make more than you need. Please don't. Just make enough for you that you can enjoy. This is how we are different from average, naturally slender people. We do things a little bit differently. Of course, if you're making your ketogenic foods, yeah, make extra, freeze those, make plenty, but just not on the desserts. All right, so let's move on from that. So how do we make this pretty dessert? It's really simple. You're going to take this out of the snack, put it on your cutting board. Where's my cutting board? There we go. Ta-da! On your cutting board, and you're simply going to take a sharp knife and you're going to just cut it into chunks. And then you're going to take those lovely chunks of cherry gel and you're going to put them in your pretty wine glass. Don't drink wine anymore, but at least I can use my wine glass for something. Then you're going to take a quarter cup of heavy cream. I have a bone to pick with some of the heavy cream producers. I saw an organic heavy cream at Safeway yesterday, and it had gellan gum in it. And I'm like, look, if you're going to sell heavy cream, and if you're going to sell organic heavy cream, please just make it cream. Because one of the things I noticed is that let me show you this. So this is what I use. Sometimes I use raw, but it's so expensive. So this is an organic heavy whipping cream from Clover, Sonoma. So it's relatively local. And if you look at the ingredients are organic cream. That's the only ingredient. But they have these products out there that they're calling heavy cream, and they're adding gellan gum and other ingredients to them to make it whip up. You don't need that. I mean, look, that whipped up easily just with my hand mixer. You don't need any additives. And I would say to the milk producers, Organics, Horizon, this is just me, the Sugar Freedom Woman, saying, just give us the heavy cream. Don't put anything in it. We can whip it good, and make it whipped ourselves without gellan gum or guar gum or mono and diglycerides or any of that garbage. So just a simple bowl, because remember, I'm making 1 serving of this. And I got my hand blender, nice and easy. And I'm gonna sweeten it with a little bit of monk fruit. You may not have to sweeten it at all. The snack pack itself is sweet enough, so if you just wanna whip the cream, that's fine. And then the other ingredient is blueberries. Now, how are we going to manage fruit on a ketogenic food plan? Well, we use less. You can go to MyFitnessPal, you can go to fitday.com. It's really easy to find out how many grams of carbohydrates there are in a serving of blueberries. And what you'll notice is what I've done is I've just simply I put in the Jell-O, I put in half of the whipped cream, I've lined the top with blueberries. So it's maybe a dozen blueberries. So it's gonna add flavor, it's gonna add beauty and contrast, but it's not gonna add a lot of carbohydrates. And then on top of that is the whipped cream. And then if you wish, let's see if I can get it, if it's handy. Is it handy? Nope, that's turmeric. What is this? Is this cinnamon? Ah, there it is. This is just a little bit of plain ground cinnamon. And you can just tap, tap, a little bit of cinnamon on top of that. Totally plain. And you know that cinnamon aids metabolism, aids glucose and sugar metabolism. Isn't it pretty? It's so simple. It's so pretty. I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. It's not gonna trigger me, but it's gonna give me something nice that I can have when my family is celebrating and eating a fresh dessert after the barbecue. All right, step 2. I am going to show you a couple of exercises. I have friends right now. I am not going back to the gym. I haven't gone back to work. I have a history of insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome going all the way back to my childhood. So I am continuing to stay at home, training at home. I had a question from my friend. She only has a pair of 5-pound dumbbells. So I said, oh, I can deal with that. Don't worry, I'm gonna wash my counter. Oh, I'll just put the dumbbells down here. All right, so we're gonna mix body weight with a simple exercise that's gonna make the most of your 5-pound dumbbell. We're gonna start with squats. I'm doing a supported squat at the counter so that I can get a little bit lower. I don't know if you can see this. Let me go all the way back here. All right, so here's my squat. I'm just managing to get to vertical. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of support by holding on to the counter, abs in, a little bit of a wider stance, and I'm just gonna get a little bit lower and then drive up out of that squat. Get a little bit lower and drive up out of that squat. So now, to make it more intense, I'm gonna hold that 5-pound dumbbell, holding onto the counter, get nice and low, and then drive up out of the squat. Nice and low as I can, and then drive up and out. My body just does not seem to be built to get to that really low squat. So I'm gonna give it 3 more. Don't fall backwards. 2. One of the problems with trying to get that low squat is sometimes it can make you pitch backwards too far. Don't fall back and bruise your tailbone. Give me 2 more. And 2, driving up and through. And 1, driving up and 2. That's round 1. The next exercise, you can do this in your kitchen. You can do this at your bathroom sink, just a counter push away. Now, one of the other things that you can do, if you're a little bit fitter, what I like to do is I go to the floor and I'm gonna do a couple of good push-ups on the floor, correct? And then I'm gonna come to the counter, I'm gonna pop up, come to the counter, and I'm gonna finish my round. Really wanting to get back to where I can do 15 push-ups on the floor without stopping. So that will be my goal for the summertime. The next exercise is going to be a weighted reverse lunge. So I've got that 5-pound dumbbell. I'm holding on and I'm gonna step back and come up 5 times. 2. I'll do 5 on that side. I'm just demonstrating. And then 2 on this side to demonstrate. But I would do 5 and 5. I promise it will make you sore. But here's the best part. Whew. Total body, backing up. And this is a butterfly raise, don't hit anything. And we go all the way up and we come all the way down. And 2, 3. I'm already starting to feel this. 4, and I've been training a long time. 5, 6. A little closer to you. 7, there it is. Notice I'm together, I'm vertical. 8, I'm horizontal. Whew. 9 and 10. If you have those 5-pound dumbbells and that gets too heavy, do a few that you can do with perfect form with your dumbbells, and then set them down and complete the rest with no weight. So those are 4 exercises, 10 reps each, and I would do 3 rounds of that exercise routine. Starting on the Tuesday after the 4th of July, today is the 3rd, so that Tuesday is going to be the 6th. Oh, sorry, Tuesday's the 7th. So starting on Tuesday, the 7th of July, we're going to be elevating the intensity. We finished the 30-day drop sugar with lift weight challenge, and I got my weight back down to healthy, back down to 126, and I got my waist down to 26 and a half. My goal is to get it down to 25. That's about an inch more than it was when I was 17, 18. I still have the after effects of metabolic syndrome. I don't officially have metabolic syndrome right now. I don't have syndrome X, which is your waist is above 50% of your height. You've got high blood pressure. You've got dyslipidemia in that your HDL is low and your triglycerides are high. Don't have any of those things. However, I used to have serious insulin resistance starting from childhood, and I still have, look guys, I'm still going to admit it, I am still dealing with periodontal disease. I've been dealing with it for decades, which indicates that I had insulin resistance early on, and dealing with, unfortunately, when you're dealing with periodontal disease, you are probably dealing with some kind of systemic infection and systemic inflammation. We have tried so many things. One of the things that really helps is regular cleanings. I get my teeth cleaned every 3 months, and then I do use something called a tooth soap. It's a liquid soap. I put it on a Proxa brush, and then that organic liquid dental soap is going in the pockets. So I do have deep pockets and just try to keep them clean. Unfortunately, I have had some tooth loss, and just trying not to have that happen anymore. It's one of the things I'm actually most self-conscious about. I had a peg lateral, which was crowned, and then they had to put in an implant. And unfortunately, what has happened is that in about the last 5 years, started to see some shifting. And the problem is that you can't really, I don't know that you can really do ortho on an implant. We're not gonna want to move that implant. But a lot of it has to do with my history of insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and of course, gum disease. Living a healthy lifestyle, I quit smoking in the year 2000, so it's been 20 years. And then also eliminating sugar, grains, but most of all, the processed vegetable oils. One of the things I want to leave you with is I've been studying the history of margarine and processed vegetable oils here in the United States. And one of the things that I discovered the year that I was born, 1964, so I'm the last of the baby boom, hello boomers, is that there was a diet Fleischmann's that was introduced in 1964. Margarine's been around since the 1880s, since the time of Napoleon. They originally made it out of beef tallow and milk, and they were trying to replace butter for the French army, for Napoleon's army. And then it moved on, and the Jergens company created a margarine, and then of course Fleischmann's was made out of corn oil. And one of the things that happened in 1964 is they managed to reduce the calorie content of the margarine, which then made it popular with women, I think like my mom, who wanted to lose weight. And unfortunately, what we're beginning to understand, I've been studying nutrition intensively since 2008, and only recently, and this actually came from Dr. Paul Saladino and Dr. Kate Shanahan, only recently has the concept that the root cause wasn't the carbs, the root carbs of the insulin resistance, the metabolic syndrome, the inflammation. It wasn't the fruit or maybe even the rice or the oatmeal. It didn't start with that. that it started with the inflammatory oils. It started with the industrial chemical oils that we started eating when they figured out a way to turn cottonseed oil into Crisco and turn corn into margarine. And 1964, the year I was born, and I know that I was born with metabolic issues because my earliest memories are of eczema when I was just a little one. And now we understand that eczema, that excess growth of the plates, of the itchy plates that are eczema, that is connected to glucose levels, insulin sensitivity, hyperinsulinemia. So even way, way back, and probably what that was triggered by is the assault, the insult of these industrial oils that the body doesn't know what to do with. So we're dealing with, I'm going to put on my glasses. So that the original insult, thank you, the original insult that we're dealing with, I thought it was the sugar. I thought it was the sugar in the Pop-Tarts, the sugar in the Captain Crunch, in the cereals that I was eating. But it might not have necessarily just been the sugar. There's a good chance that it was also the industrial oils that started the inflammation, that started the insulin resistance, that may have then opened the door to the troubles that I've had all my life with glucose. Because you may know what I like to say, sugar is snack, grain is crack, and I am a glucomaniac. At any rate, as we go into this holiday weekend, I want you to find substitutions so that you can drop sugar. And I also want you to lift weight. And so that is why, even though I don't eat these all the time, and even though it does have some chemicals in it, if I want a dessert for Independence Day, I'm going to start with the gel, add some organic heavy cream, maybe sweeten it with monk fruit, a couple of blueberries, maybe some cinnamon on top, and that is going to keep me happy and satisfied. Come back on Tuesday, the 7th, when we will be starting our intensive lifting more weight, doing higher intensity interval training, doing that more intense intermediate to advanced training for a happy, healthy summer. Be well, everybody, and I'll see you right back here in the Sugar Freedom Kitchen. Like, share, subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Putting on glasses so I can see.